The park's Steel Phantom roller coaster opened in 1991. Hurtling riders down its 225-foot drop and into multiple loops plus a corkscrew, the Phantom soon made a name for itself in several top 10 coaster lists. But in the year 2000, Kennywood thought the unthinkable. It would tear down the Phantom and replace it with an even scarier ride.
We needed a new marketing pull. We didn't have any land available to build a major new coaster on. So we decided that it was time to remake the Steel Phantom, and what emerged was Phantom's Revenge.
When I'm riding this ride, I feel like I'm flying. You're going so fast down those hills. You can't help but feel the air in your face. So exciting.
This 3,500-foot long coaster takes riders 16 stories up and then drops them 160 feet before shooting them up and down a second, even longer 232-foot drop right through the arch of another coaster.
You go down through a natural ravine, hitting 85 miles an hour. It's almost impossible to keep your hands up because you don't think there's any way you can make it through that second coaster. Bottom of the hill, make an 82-degree turn, come back around and go through it again. My favorite part of the ride is at the very end. There are a couple of bunny hills that get you out of your seat. You don't think anything else is coming because you're near the end, but it keeps going all the way through.
Kennywood was opened in 1898 as a small amusement park offering traditional family entertainment. It soon introduced some of the most extreme rides, like the Sky Coaster and the Pitfall Drop Ride. And when the Steel Phantom opened in 1991, its 80-mile-an-hour speed made it the world's fastest roller coaster. D.H. Morgan Manufacturing was hired to redesign and make the Phantom as the Phantom's Revenge. D.H. Morgan had a history of making world-class hypercoasters, including the record-smashing 318-foot, 95-mile-an-hour Steel Dragon at Nagashima Spa-Land in Japan. Enthusiasts define a hypercoaster as a coaster that exceeds 200 feet in height. The first hypercoaster was introduced in 1989 when Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio opened Magnum XL 200. Hypercoasters like Magnum typically feature an out and back configuration, meaning they don't have loops to flip riders upside down. Instead, they offer towering hills, drops, spirals, tight turns and bursts of airtime that bounce riders out of their seats. Because there are no flips, hypercoaster cars don't require over-the-shoulder harnesses, so riders can experience more freedom of movement. Since Magnum, the popularity of the hypercoaster has steadily increased. In 2000, Cedar Point introduced its record-breaking 310-foot-tall Millennium Force, which it calls a gigacoaster because it exceeds 300 feet in height. The appeal of the hyper or giga coasters harks back to the past.
For so many years, if it was a steel coaster, the designers and the park people, and even the fans to some extent, felt that you had to do loops, you had to do all the corkscrews, you had to do all these various elements to turn you upside down because you could do that with steel. But through the years, if you look back, the real coaster fans and the real coaster designs, the classic coaster designs, have come from wooden coasters of the past. And that basically is what the steel coaster industry has done today. With their hyper coasters, they've taken you high, they've dropped you, they give you speed, they give you sharp bank turns, but they're not putting you through loops or inverting you. And to some extent, that's an extension of the old out and back woodies of the past.
Park owners have found that with hypercoasters, customers keep coming back again and again.
extreme rides today have to be rideable, first of all. We are a business. We have to be able to attract multitudes to our parks and sell them a product that they enjoy. And therefore, the rides need to be rideable in addition to being exciting and full of attractions and very intense. Phantom's Revenge is very much that. It's very dramatic. The first hill is exciting. The second hill is even better. It probably defines white-knuckle excitement. But it's also very smooth, and it's the kind of ride that we felt was important for us to put in this year.
In the autumn of 2000, the reconfiguration of the Phantom began. Kennywood knew from experience that it was a risk worth taking. In the 60s, the park had refashioned the Pippin into the Thunderbolt. That ride today still ranks as one of the world's top 10 wooden coasters.
Well, we thought that we could probably apply the same principle to the remaking of the Steel Phantom, and what emerged was a blending of the two rides. We kept the best parts of the Steel Phantom, and frankly, we kept the parts where a lot of the capital investment was, the incline, the safety system, the station.
The designers, D.H. Morgan Manufacturing, added new elements, but kept the 160-foot first drop intact. The park also wanted to retain the coaster's famous second drop that delivers a run through the Thunderbolt coaster. It was one of the greatest challenges for the construction team. Parts of the Thunderbolt and the ravine and hillside had to be pulled down and rebuilt.
We decided to take out the inversions of the Steel Phantom, which we felt would increase ridership if we did that.
Without loops, there's less chance of riders being scared off, or if they ride, getting motion sickness, and therefore more chance they'll go again. With no need for over-the-shoulder restraints, all new trains were installed. The ride's conclusion includes a helix that delivers 3.5 G-forces.
Did we get any feedback when we announced that the Steel Phantom was coming out? We got tons of feedback. We got emails, we got phone calls, we got hate mail, we got tons of letters saying, how can you do this? How in the world can you take out the Steel Phantom, a top 10 coaster? But you know what, we stayed the course, and our plan was good, and what emerged was a great roller coaster.
They can make the Steel Phantom any better, but this is a great ride, definitely a top 10.